Who will be the first to plant their flag on Mars or mine an asteroid for trillions? The new space race isn't just about rockets anymore. It's a high-stakes game of geopolitical power and technological supremacy. We are breaking down which nations and corporations are truly poised to colonize space and what a future off-world truly means for humanity. Welcome to Redline History. Today, we are analyzing the most expensive land grab in human history. As we move through 2026, the heavens are no longer a laboratory for science. They have become the ultimate high ground for the world's superpowers. We are witnessing the transition from exploration to extraction. In the 20th century, the space race was about prestige. In 2026, it is about survival. The red line of national sovereignty has moved from the surface of the Earth to low Earth orbit. Whoever controls the sky lanes today will control global communication, military intelligence, and the wealth of the next millennium. To understand the urgency of 2026, we have to look at the Suez Canal of the sky. For centuries, the world's great powers fought to control narrow choke points like the Strait of Malacca or the Panama Canal. But in the 21st century, the primary choke point is gravity itself. The ability to launch, refuel, and maintain a presence in orbit is the modern equivalent of having a world-class navy in the 1800s. This isn't the first time we've seen this pattern. To find the blueprint for the current race, we have to look back at the 16th and 17th centuries and the Age of Discovery. Nations like Spain, Portugal, and Britain didn't send ships across the Atlantic just to see what was there. They went for the gold, the spices, and the territory. They established chartered companies like the East India Company, massive private-public partnerships that had their own armies, their own laws, and their own goals. In 2026, history is repeating itself. We are seeing the rise of the corporate sovereign. Entities like SpaceX are no longer just contractors for the government. They are the modern equivalents of the East India Company. They possess the critical infrastructure that the state lacks. The US government under the 2026 administration has realized a terrifying truth. If they do not support their private space barons, they will lose the race to a more centralized competitor. And that competitor has a name. The Red Dragon of China has officially declared that space is not a global commons. To Beijing, the Moon and Mars are the new South China Sea. They are moving with a speed that has left the old European space agencies in the dust. We are standing at the threshold of a reality where the red line of a nation's border doesn't end at the atmosphere. It extends all the way to the lunar poles. Why the sudden acceleration in 2026? It comes down to a fundamental shift in resource realism. For decades, asteroid mining was a science fiction fantasy. But last year, the mission to the asteroid Psyche 16 changed everything. This single celestial body contains enough iron, nickel, and gold to crash the global economy. It is valued at over $10,000 quadrillion. But you don't have to go to the asteroid belt to find the first space oil. You only have to look at the Moon's south pole. By early 2026, the lunar South Pole has become the most valuable real estate in the solar system. It's not about the dirt, it's about the ice. Water is the petroleum of the stars. It can be broken down into oxygen for breathing and hydrogen for rocket fuel. Whoever controls the lunar ice stations owns the gas stations of the future. They control the ability for any other nation to move deeper into the solar system. The US-led Artemis Accords were supposed to create a framework for peaceful cooperation. But in late 2025, China and Russia finalized their own International Lunar Research Station agreement. This isn't a research pact, it's a rival alliance. We are witnessing the balkanization of the Moon. The 2026 strategy for Washington is infrastructure hostility. The US is using its private sector lead to deploy a vast network of satellites, a digital iron curtain in the sky. By controlling the communications and GPS networks in orbit, the US can effectively switch off a competitor's ability to navigate the stars. But China is playing the long game. They are focused on physical occupation. They are pouring billions into heavy-lift rockets and permanent lunar bases. Their goal is simple: to create a de facto territory that the US cannot remove without starting a war on Earth. This brings us to the most dangerous red line of all: the collapse of the 1967 Outer Space Treaty. This treaty explicitly states that no nation can claim sovereignty over a celestial body. But as we enter 2026, that piece of paper is increasingly irrelevant. When a nation builds a permanent habitat on a lunar ridge, that ridge becomes theirs. When a corporation begins extracting minerals from an asteroid, those minerals belong to their shareholders. The law of the jungle is moving to the vacuum of space. Before we look at the final frontier, the 2026 lifeboat strategy for Mars, we want to hear from you. In a world where space resources could end poverty on Earth, will this new race lead to a golden age, or a permanent class of the left behind? Drop a comment below. The Red Line History team reads every response. If you want to understand the power plays reshaping our universe, hit that like button and subscribe. We follow the money, wherever it leads. We are now entering the era of multi-planetary sovereignty. The push for Mars in 2026 isn't just about curiosity. It is about the lifeboat strategy. In the high-security offices of the world's most powerful billionaires and generals, there is a growing belief that the 21st century will be defined by cascading collapses: economic, environmental, and geopolitical. Mars is the ultimate citadel. It is the only place in the solar system where humanity can build a backup for civilization. But here is the truth the media won't tell you. The first Martian colony will not be a democracy. It will be a company town. The entity that builds the habitat, provides the oxygen, and controls the water will have absolute power. There is no red line for civil rights on a planet where the air you breathe is a line item on a corporate balance sheet. By late 2026, the first crewed mission to Mars is no longer a maybe. It is a countdown. The US is betting on Starship's sheer scale, while China is betting on its ability to sustain a state-run presence for decades. What happens to those left behind? History shows us that every colonial expansion creates a great divide. In the 1800s, it was the divide between the industrializing West and the colonized South. In 2026, the divide is between the orbital powers and the atmospheric nations. If your country does not have a presence in space, you are effectively a second-class citizen of the global economy. You will pay sky taxes for every phone call, every shipment, and every kilowatt of energy derived from space-based solar arrays. The colonization of space is the final red line of human history. Once crossed, there is no going back. The lawyers are already arguing over orbital property rights. The geologists are already marking the claims on the moon. And the generals are already gaming out the first kinetic conflict in zero gravity. The 1960s were about who could get to the moon first. 2026 is about who gets to stay and who gets to own the future. The Arctic was the old frontier. The Americas were the old fortress. But today, the budget is the fuel, the rockets are the ammunition, and the stars are the prize. Thanks for watching Red Line History. If you want to see the world for what it actually is, a high-stakes game of survival and supremacy, make sure you've subscribed. We'll see you at the next border.